Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Irad. And so last week I made a reaction video to the review made by Buyi about Starfield, and he gave it a 4.5, which I thought was very unreasonable. I put the link in the description down below to check out the video if you want to see why. But basically, a lot of what he was saying was factually, it's not an opinion. There's actually quite a lot that I agree with what he said. There's a lot with these opinions that I agree with. The problem I have is that the facts that he was saying, were wrong. And so the problem is that then he had other opinions that he had because of these facts that were wrong, and that is where I lost it. Because I don't think it's reasonable to make a review based on wrong facts that then you are sharing on the channel that has over 300,000 subscribers. That's not okay. You gotta be more professional than that. But here, he seems like he's making another video that's a little bit more down to earth. So people have told me what I think went wrong. So let's see if this is a more reasonable one. I'm willing to give it another chance.
Starfield it's pretty much a glorified looter shooter with RPG elements. Not done very well at all. What should it have been?
I agree with the fact that there's a lot of looting, shooting. That's true, with a lot of RPG as well. Now he says not very well done at all. That's his opinion, but let's keep on watching.
Should Starfield have been? Well, because of the stable that it comes out of, it should have been the next Skyrim in space. It was kind of touted as that. All the way through it was. They couldn't stop telling us that they were the people that made Skyrim and Fallout. So, yeah, it's like, oh, this is the first new world we've made in 20...
Now, maybe... And here, I cannot judge on people who are upset about the fact that it was supposed to be a Skyrim in space and maybe it's not. I don't know. So here, I'll give him a pass on that. I don't know about this because I've never played a Bethesda game before. This is my first Bethesda game, and I'm enjoying it. I didn't play Skyrim. I don't like magic so much. I'm not a big fan of the end of the game of Starfield also because of that. No spoilers, but just to let you know, right? That being said, I personally, I'm enjoying thoroughly this game, despite its shortcomings. It has a lot of shortcomings, but it has a lot of great moments as well. Seems that our friend here, Worth a Buy, does not agree with that. He's not having a great time with it, but at least let's see what he says went wrong.
5 years, it's like, okay, so they're making a whole new thing now. It's going to be space. Well, I'm well on board for that. I love me space games. You know, immersion is important in a role-playing game. It's very important in a role-playing game, more so than any other genre of game. You've got to be immersed.
That's right.
How do you get immersed? Well, you have to believe you are in that game. You are that person. You are role-playing that person.
Yeah.
So your environment has to be believable.
I think it is. For me, at least, the way I play the game, I think it is.
You have to kind of be able to get into it. And Starfield did a great job of stopping that happening. And the reason for
that's for him. That's according to him. And let's see what he says why.
That is, I believe, because the engine they've used it's not meant for this kind of stuff. You can't do. They've tried to kind of.
That's a good point. Let's just say that it seems to me, at least the way I see it, is that Bethesda has tried to really push the limit, really push the boundaries of their engine to create this game. Sometimes it feels like, indeed, like a game that could have been made 10 years ago. Does that stop the immersion? For me, it does not. But I can understand that for some people who now have different expectations. I made another video about that, by the way. Check this one right here. It's about why Star Citizen will never die. And I think that the reason why is because Star Citizen created expectations now for gamers that are extremely difficult for other game companies to fulfill, including, in this case, Bethesda with Starfield. And so when people are looking at space games now, they know Star Citizen, they know what Star Citizen can do. They're expecting other game companies to do the same things as Star Citizen. But, you know, it took 10 years of research of development. They're still in the research of development phase right now for creating Star Citizen. There's no other company that can sustainably do that with $600 million of research and development, right, for a video game. This is absolutely insane, which is why Star Citizen has the tech that it has now, but you should not be taking that tech for granted, because the other studios, they simply can't. Unless they buy that tech from Cloud Imperial Games, they just can't reproduce the amount of fidelity and immersion that Star Citizen does. And that's the problem, not just for Starfield, but pretty much any other game right now that tries to have a setting in space. They have to level up their game, but Star Citizen is so far ahead that it's going to be really difficult, and a lot of people are going to be disappointed about space games in the future because of that.
Put a round peg in a square hole with this engine, and they've ended up with a mess. So what should Starfield have been? Well, as you go to a spaceship, you should just walk into it and then take off yourself. How hard is it? How hard is it to sit down in a spaceship now in 2023, fire your thrusters, and just go up with vertical, then as you get off the ground, just start tilting back, retracting your landing gear, and then thrusting out at a nice 45-degree angle maybe, or whatever you want, through the atmosphere and then into space.
Yes, it is hard. It is hard. It took Cloud Imperial Games many years to nail that. There are not a lot of games that can pull this off. Star Wars Outlaws will not do it. You know, a lot of people will say, "Wow, Star Wars Outlaws, it looks nice." No, it does not. It's full of crap. It's just like Starfield, you know. It does not. It's a lot of physics. It's a lot of. I mean, you have to physicalize an entire planet within a game world. The scale of the maps is huge, because it's not just one tiny little map that you can see where you can go in space. If you do that, you have to represent the entire planet in one gaming instance, even in a single player game. It's not easy.
Then when you get into space, set your nav computer, jump to where you're going. That should require a hyperspace screen, which will be a loading screen. Get to the system you want, fly around, look at a planet, say, all right, I'm going to go down to that planet. So you're kind of jumping down towards that planet's surface, going really fast, and then you break through the atmosphere, set your scanners on, scan around the planet's surface. Any signals you pick up, just fly around, go a bit closer, get a bit lower, have a bit of a look out your window and say, oh, that looks decent. What is that down there? That looks like a cave. That looks like a building. I'm going to just sit down here.
There's
and I'm going to have a look,
for
and
you.
then you just land.
That's Star
and then
Citizen.
as you land, you just actually get out of your chair, walk to the back of your spaceship,
Or
open
No
the
Man's
door,
Sky
and
here.
walk through the fucking door. No loading, just walk through the door and you're on that planet's surface and you're wandering around and you've just achieved something amazing. You have literally done proper space flight in a role-playing game. It feels good because I've done it in No Man's Sky. It's a truly epic, magical feeling.
And No Man's Sky was released 7 years ago. It took them a while to create this game and to fine-tune this game to what it is. It's true. Well, it took a long time to develop Starfield as well, but as I said, it's a different engine. And Bethesda, well, they didn't want to put all the research and development to create a whole new engine to make all these possibilities possible. Maybe they're listening to us. Maybe one day there'll be a Starfield 2 with an entire new engine where we'll be able to do all of that. But the reality is, it is what it is. And to be frank, it's not really the purpose of the game either.
You do that. You feel like you literally piloted that ship. Same in Elite when you dock at that station. You've just traveled.
Yeah, but this is where Worth a Buy gets it wrong. It's not the same genre. Elite is a simulation game. Star Citizen is a simulation game. Starfield is not a simulation. It's never been meant to be a simulation. They're just not the same type of games. You're comparing oranges and bananas. Both of them are fruit, but they're not the same kind. One of them is sour. One of them is, more sweet, on the sweeter side. One of them is juicy. One of it is dry. They're just totally not the same. Starfield and Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, No Man's Sky, they're all space games, but they're not the same. One of them is an RPG. The others are simulations.
Across the universe seamlessly, apart from the hyperspace jump, and you get there and you dock in there, you land in that landing bay, and you're there. It's like, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, but you're showing Elite Dangerous. This is the raison d'etre of Elite Dangerous. That is the main feature of Elite Dangerous, being able to go in and out of these stations. That's the whole point. That's what people are expecting of Elite Dangerous. Starfield, people are expecting the narration, the choices that you make in the different quests that you have, all these consequences, how it's going to influence the rest of your story. That's what it is. So it's something that you don't have in Elite Dangerous. And I'm going to turn this argument around, right? Where is the narration in Elite Dangerous, in No Man's Sky, in Star Citizen? It's not there, right? So let's say you're someone who loves space games. You know, you're playing Starfield, you like it, and then you move to Star Citizen. You're like, oh yeah, cool, I can do all these things, but then what's the point? What's the purpose? What should my character do? There's none of that in those games. So you have to go the other way around as well. It's not because you prefer this kind of gameplay here that everybody is going to feel the same. There's got to be everything for everyone, right? Some people are going to prefer the narration, some people are going to prefer the simulation aspect. But I think it's also very important to have a look at both sides when you are taking a comparison of these games that are indeed, again, as I said before, very fundamentally different.
This, you literally get to your spaceship, walk to the door, loading screen. Get in your spaceship, walk to your seat, cutscene.
Same thing about Elite Dangerous, by the way. Elite Dangerous Odyssey, you enter your ship, tiny little micro cutscene, boom, you transition inside the cockpit, and vice versa. There's that too.
Press the space bar to take off, cutscene. Get into space, plot your course, loading screen. Get to the planet you want to be, click to land, cutscene. Land in your spaceship, want to be out your chair, cutscene.
It's not the point of Starfield.
Walk to the back of your spaceship, want to get out, loading screen. Who's going to do that? I'll tell you who, no f***er, because you can press one button and just instantly teleport there. But what does that do? That cuts out the whole space travel. You're never going to get attacked. I've played this
That's not true.
game now for over 20 hours. I've had 3 space battles. 3 in 20 fucking hours. And you know why? Because I'm not going through all of that cutscene bullshit. I'm just pressing one button to teleport to where I want to be. And it just totally cuts out space travel. So I'm never going to get attacked by pirates.
That's his choice. And that's your choice. Nobody forces you to do that in Starfield. You can play in a way that's closer to simulation if you want to. If you don't want to because you don't have the time, yeah, just press the button.
Obviously, some missions will have me attacked by pirates, so that will happen then. But generally speaking, I'm not in a space game. I'm playing fucking Beam Me Up Scotty. That's what I'm doing. I'm a Beam Me Up Scotty looter shooter. That's what I'm doing in Starfield.
I think it's great at doing that, by the way. I think it's pretty good. I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm gonna have a video about that later, by the way. After that, I'll go to the bathroom really quick. After that, we'll have a video about that, about some pro tips for shooting in Starfield, and I think it's awesome. I'm having a blast.
And that's a fucking disgrace, considering this was sold on the back of Skyrim, Fallout, from Bethesda.
Come on. Who believes marketing in 2023? These have been the same techniques for decades now when they've been selling the games. Come on, you don't be so gullible. Just get informed.
We're expecting an immersive RPG because we know that there's engines out there and we know that there's games out there that can do this. And we thought that Bethesda, being one of the biggest studios in the world, would do it and pull it off. And they haven't. It's smoke and mirrors. The whole thing's smoke and mirrors. The RPG side of things, you have all these companions who constantly talk over each other when they're in the same room.
The money you sent home? Well,
Magical.
it means a lot.
It's a little bug. Yes, I know it shouldn't be happening. It's gonna be fixed eventually, but come on, that he's nitpicking here.
To both of us.
I must admit.
If you want to go and talk to somebody, it might be a mission quest to talk to one of them. They might be having a conversation with one of the others. So you stand there. I literally waited 2 or 3 minutes while one guy talked to his ex about how their relationship broke up. Imagine that. I walk into a room and I can't talk to them because they're just having this intimate conversation about where they all went
That's
wrong.
not his ex. They're still married. They're still together, by the way. The guy did not understand the conversation. But that's the point. You don't interrupt people when they're speaking. You listen to the conversation. See, maybe get to know them a little bit better.
And I'm standing there like a big fucking gooseberry. I mean, what?
It's the point of the game. It's a narrative game. It's storytelling. That's what this game is. Don't play the game if you don't like that, because guess what? That's what Starfield is. It's a game that focuses heavily on narrative. That's what it is.
There's too many planets, there's too many companions, there's just way too much crammed into a bad engined game, and what you end up is nothing works properly. It's all just a mess, and that's what Starfield is. An absolute mess. They should have deleted thousands of these planets. Myself, personally, I would have much preferred a more streamlined game with maybe 20 planets. 20 planets crafted with care, with lots of points of interest on them, with lots of things happening, with planets that look actually alive and not some bad 1970s Star Trek fucking place.
You can play Star Wars Outlaws. You want that. Star Wars Outlaws is going to be for you. Let's see how you are going to be enjoying Star Wars Outlaws. I'm really looking forward to seeing how people will be enjoying Star Wars Outlaws. You're going to have the same kind of loading screens, the same kind of tech. Yeah, but you're going to have your 20 plans that are going to be handmade. And we're going to see if it's going to be as dead, as you say, which are not dead. Lots of them have outposts, things to do, things to explore. You have to take the time to find them out. You have to take the time to observe, see the points of interest. You are not going to be hand-fed all of that content. You have to look for it. It's called exploration. And then, that's my opinion, I think it's very rewarding when you do take that time and you find a great, there's this outpost that's been overrun by alien bugs and you got to exterminate everything, and then you find some really juicy loot in there. That's awesome, right? Or you find an outpost that's actually inhabited. There are people that need your help. They need someone to scan the different types of lifestyle or life forms that are on that planet. You take the time, you scan the life forms, you come back, you did a lot of exploration at the same time, boom, you get paid, that's it. You have to make that effort. If you're not making that effort, of course all the planets are going to feel bland. Of course all the planets are going to feel dead, because you are not taking the time to get to discover the game. And that's, I think, is his problem, because he's got this prejudice on the game as well. He thinks, oh, it's not Skyrim in space, so I was lied, I was deceived, so I don't like it, everything is rubbish. No, it's all of that seems very unbalanced to me.
I was expecting to see the fucking Gorn, a man in a suit throwing fucking polystyrene rocks at us on some of these places. They just don't look real. They're like studio sets. Remember in Morrowind, remember in Oblivion, remember in Skyrim, you go into these caves and you're in there for hours. Some of them, it's just like, what is all this? I've just discovered.
You can do that in Starfield too.
This, I just came across all this. I wasn't told to come here. I just went in and I just discovered this.
And you can do it in Starfield too.
The atmosphere, seamless. Remember Kingdom Come Deliverance, just doing the quests in there. Some of them were just what some people would call boring. I thought they were great. Being done.
Kingdom Come Deliverance is 10 by 10 kilometers. So you can't compare that.
Guard duty in that fort, being shown the ropes off a guard. It was a 20-minute walk around the fort. He was saying, this is where you got to watch here, this tower here. It's all at night under torchlight. It was just highly immersive.
All right, so basically it's the same video as the other one. See, and this is what happens, guys. When you don't have the right expectations and you're not informed, then you end up disappointed, like Worth of Buyi. It's sad. It's really sad. That's pretty much all I'm going to say here. Seems like the rest is pretty much a rant. It's sad. All right, I'll be right back. We're gonna have happier times after this short break.